everybody, it's Doreen, and I'm back today with another birthday card. This card I made for my father. Now, it doesn't have to be a birthday card. You can make this whatever kind of card you want, just you'll need to change the sentiment that is on the front. And I did get this idea from off of someone's blog, and I am going to tell you who that is once we go over how to lay things on your mat. One of the other things that we will be doing today is we're going to be using the print and cut feature, and we're going to be coloring in an image that is a clip art that I found on the internet. You can do this using a digital stamp. You can do this by stamping out your image and scanning it into your computer and then coloring it using the Silhouette and your print and cut feature. I'm going to go over how to do this. I think I've practiced it enough that I can show you how I do it. Now, I'm not saying the way I do it is the right way, but this is what works for me. So, what does our card look like for today? This is the card that we will be making. And as I said, you don't have to make it a birthday card. You can remove this sentiment and put whatever you want it to say. So come on and join me, and I'm going to show you how I made this card.
Okay everybody, so before we get started putting the card together, I'm going to just go over a few measurements for the things that I use the print and cut for with the Silhouette. I'll give you more measurements for when I use the paper trimmer, but I wanted to give you these measurements ahead of time so you could see how I laid them on the mat for the print and cut feature. So the first thing I did was I set my mat to be an 8.5 by 11 by going to the page settings and then just choosing the letter option for the page settings. And then I also turned on my registration mark. So you just click on registration marks and then you pick the Cameo that you have. So I then, because I wanted to do the print and cut feature for my inside sentiment, I went ahead and set up my square to be the size that I wanted for the inside sentiment. So I just grabbed the square tool right here and made a square that is 4 inches in width and 0.25 in height. So you'll just go ahead and grab a square, go over, click anywhere in here, and then just put in your measurement. So we'll just delete this one real quick. And then for my font for the inside sentiment, I just went ahead and chose the textile window, and then I picked the font that I wanted. So now the font that I'm using for this card is called Candy Buzz Pt1, and I already had this on my computer, I believe, but you can go out to Google and search for that font if this is the font that you want to use. Now for the happy birthday that is going to go, let's get out of that text style window, on top of my label here, I did need to use the print and cut once again. So what I did was I just went out and grabbed the rounded rectangle tool and drew a box to get so that it would fit within here like so. So I'm going to give you that measurement. So that measures, and let's go to our window. The width is 2.378 and the height is 0.476. And then once I had that, I went back and clicked on my text style icon or tool and then typed in my happy birthday using the same size font or the same font that I use for the inside sentiment, and that is the Candy Buzz Pt1. So now the banner over here, I use the pattern fill window to fill in the pattern of the paper because I wanted this to also be a print and cut. The banner itself I got from the Silhouette online store, and it comes with several other banners. It's a 6-banner set, and the number is 20957, and it's this top banner right here. So when you bring this onto your mat, it will bring all of them in, and what you'll do is you'll ungroup them. And I'm going to bring in a new mat so I can show you what that looks like. So you'll just bring it in and ungroup it by right clicking and clicking ungroup, and then you'll just go ahead, highlight the ones you don't want, and hit the delete key on your keyboard, and then you can go ahead and begin to resize this one. So the size that this one is 3.184 for your width and 0.683 for your height. So once you've made it the size that you want, then you can go up to the fill pattern window, and your Silhouette does come with some basic fill patterns. This particular fill pattern I got off of the web. I don't remember where I got it from, so I apologize. I won't be able to let you know where it came from. So you'll have to pick whatever fill pattern you want. If you want to use a fill pattern, you don't have to. You can just go ahead and cut this using some regular cardstock if you want. So now, the other thing that I used the print and cut for was for the square that I'm going to be putting my truck on. And I apologize, I forgot to even say where I got the idea from this card. So let me real quick jump over to the website that I got the card. And it is called Splotch Design. And she is a Stampin' Up dealer or demonstrator. And I believe her name is pronounced Jackie, but I'm not positive. So this is what the actual card looks like that she created. And I wanted to make my card similar to this. And so I decided to use the Silhouette. I'm not sure where she got the truck from because it doesn't say down in her card recipe. So what I did to get a truck is I just went out and in Google I typed in old truck clip art, and I was able to find this truck right here. So I'm going to go back real quick to what size you should make the front of your card here, where you're going to put the truck and your loads of love. And I also went ahead and imported this in so that I would have it on my mat so I could see exactly what the card looks like, and then I could piece my card together by looking at the card that she did. So the square for her square right here, she doesn't give any measurements, so I'm giving you the measurements that I'm using, and I made this square to be 3.125 for the width and 3.125 for the height. So basically that's a 3 1/8 by 3 1/8 inch square. If you have a stamp and you want to stamp out your wording, you can go ahead and do that. You won't have to do the print and cut feature. So now let's talk about the truck. The truck I found by doing a Google search, and all I did was go out to the web, and in Google I typed old truck clip art, and I got a truck. So the truck itself is, I found it on this website clipart.com, and I'll put a link to this webpage down in the description bar of this video. So the truck comes in as a PNG file, and it comes in as a small, medium, or large. So I just went ahead and downloaded the large. It is a free file, and then I imported it into my Silhouette Designer Edition. So you do need the Designer Edition to do this because it's going to come in as a PNG. So I'm going to go to a blank or a empty mat, and I'm going to import the file into our onto our mat rather. So I do have a folder that I keep all of my PNG files in, and it's labeled PNG. Now, one thing you have to remember is, as you can see, you don't see any of the PNG files right now. You have to remember to go and change this files of type to PNG, and that's when you'll see all your files that have the extension PNG. So the truck was called Old Truck High, and I'm just going to click OK. So now it comes in very tiny, and eventually when we cut it out, we do want it small. But in order to do our tracing and to do our coloring in using the silhouette rather than the markers or whatever you want to use to color in, we're going to make this a little larger so we can at least see it on the mat. So I'm just going to bring it out as large as I can, and then we're going to go ahead and trace. But before we trace, I want my truck to be facing in the opposite direction. So now that I have it highlighted right here, I'm just going to go over to the replicate window, and I'm going to mirror this right. And I'm just going to take this truck and delete it, and now I have my truck facing in the direction that I want it to be facing in when I lay it down to put it on my card. So now what we need to do is trace this, because if we go to the cut window, the Silhouette has no idea what this is. What it will do is it will cut this entire square box around this, and we don't want that. So what we want to do is we want the actual truck itself. So we're going to go up to our trace window, and we're going to click select trace area. And once you do that, you will go ahead and trace around your truck. And what that will do is it will start just tracing just the pieces of the truck. Now what you want to do, and this is what I call trial and error, you have to just play with this until you get it traced the way you want. This particular one happened to be really easy. When I did the church lady for Skylar, that did take a lot more of finagling and moving around to get it the way I wanted it. So with this one, I'm going to take off the high pass filter and turn on the low pass filter by checking the box, and then I'm not going to do anything else with the value, the threshold of the scale, because these pieces are large enough that it's tracing exactly the way I want it. So then the next thing I'll do is just go ahead and click trace, and if I move this, I now have my truck. And if I were to go to my cut style window now, you can see it would cut, but it would also cut out all of these pieces as well. So now what we need to do is set this up so that we can color it whatever color we want using our Silhouette and the print and cut feature. So I'm going to get out of the cut style window, and I'm just going to get over to the fill color window for right now. So as you can see, this is all grouped together, and we need to be able to make this different colors like our truck over here. So what we'll do is highlight this, and you can either go up to Object and then click Release Compound Path, or you can just click on it and right click and click Release Compound Path. So now as you can see, it's all in little individual pieces. So what I'm going to do next is I want to fill this in so I can separate my colors and see this a lot easier than the way it is right now. So I'm just going to go over to my fill color and color everything in black. And now from here I can choose each one of my pieces and start coloring them in. So I'm just gonna make that color, and I'm gonna change this to this color. Actually, let's make that darker. And I'll take this piece and make that color, and then we'll start with our window, and we'll make our window this color, and you just go through and just pick each one and color them the way you want them. And as I said, this one is a really easy one to do. When I did the other one, the more intricate pieces you have in your digital image, your clip art, or your rubber stamp, the more you're going to have to do a little maneuvering with your high pass and low pass filter when you're tracing your image. So we'll make this one this color, and then we'll go here and color this one in and color this one in, and then I'll take my wheels in the inside here and make those white like so. Now the other thing I want to do is I want to change the color right here of these two little pieces right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my zoom and bring this in like this so that I can see this. So whenever you're doing this and you want to be able to see something that's really tiny, if you just go up to here and click this button and then go to where the area that you want to zoom in on, it makes it much larger for you to see it. So now that I can see it, I'm going to click on it, and I want to make that the same color. So what I could do also is look at what color this is, and I can click on this and then just click that color if I wanted to make them exactly the same color, which it did turn out to be that way. So now if you look at this, you'll see that my lines are red, but I want them to print out in black. So I'm going to zoom back, and I'm going to take and highlight everything, and then I'm going to go to my line color, and I'm going to choose my option black. So now everything is in black, and I've got all my pieces colored the way I want them. Now remember, you have to now make sure you group all this together, because if you don't and you move this, all the pieces will be separated. So now as you can see, my truck is all one piece, and it's the colors that I want. So then the next thing is, we know we're set to print, but we need to do our cut. Now if you look at this, you can see that it will cut each one of these individual pieces. We don't want it to do that. What we want is for it to just cut the outside edge. The other thing that I want to do is I want to have just a little bit faint line around the truck itself when it cuts, so that there'll just be just a little hint of a line there. So I'm going to go to my offset window, and I'm going to click offset, and then I'm just going to bring this in just a little bit, not by much. So you can bring it in as much as you want, however you want to do it. We'll just take it to, let's say, 0.1 or 1.5. So I'm going to change this to, can get in there, 0.5, just so I have just a small line. And actually probably needed to be a little bit bigger than that, but you can change it to whatever it is that you want to change it to. So I'm going to do an undo real quick and see if it'll let me do that. And I'm going to leave it like that. So, and then I'll just click apply. So now let's go back to the cut window, and as you can see, everything is set to cut individually, but we just want to cut just around the edge of the truck. So we're going to take this off of the cut, and we're going to change this to cut edge. And as you can see, when I chose cut edge, it is still showing me these pieces will be cut. And don't panic, there is a way to fix this. We should have set this at cut edge first before we did our offset, but I do have a way that you can fix it if you accidentally do that. So what you would do is, where it is highlighted right now, you will just go ahead and click the truck. So now we're actually clicking our little pieces right here and not the edge piece here. And you're going to just ungroup that. And once you have it ungrouped, you just go up to no cut, and then you can group it back together. And now you'll see that it will only just cut the edge like so. So what we should have done is we should have gone ahead before we did our offset. We should have gone ahead and then did cut edge and then did the offset, and it would have just cut just the edge along here. So I hope I was able to explain this on how I did the truck and set it up to use the print and cut feature. So now what I want you to do is go ahead and practice this, and then once you think you've got it down, go ahead and do your print and cut feature and meet me back at the table and we'll put our card together.